Hey, what's up, guys? 98 Sports Talk here with my LSU outlook for 2018. And let me know what you guys think in the comments section. If you guys think I'm low or high on what I think the record's going to be, or any comments that something that you guys think I missed on LSU. Let's take a look back at last season, 2017. LSU went 9-4 with a 6-2 mark in the SEC. And, it was another year that LSU just didn't have a quarterback, which has seemingly plagued them for the last 100 years or so. I really don't understand why LSU cannot get a quarterback. But once again, and that was one of the problems for recruiting for the 2018 cycle, besides missing on Patrick Surtain Jr., which really hurts, and that caused them to miss another another DB that they should have gotten. But they also, again, the most important thing that you need is a quarterback, and they let theirs go to A&M. It's confusing as to why LSU can't bring in a quarterback there. I understand under Les Miles there were a heavy, defense and running team, but still, LSU's a big time program. It doesn't make sense why a quarterback doesn't want to go there. I don't get it. Hopefully LSU will be able to find a quarterback in 2019. But, that was a huge problem for them in 2017. So looking forward to 2018, again, like I just talked about, they still don't have a quarterback. It's probably going to come down to Miles Brennan's probably going to win the job. He's a pocket passer. He's not a dual threat. They've got a number of other dual threat guys, but I do believe Miles Brennan will end up getting the starting job. And Steve Ensminger, who is the new OC there, has come in, and he basically, a couple comments from him just seems like he's basically saying they want to throw the ball all over the place, which kind of makes sense because LSU's running backs, I think that's going to be kind of a running back by committee. You're going to see Nick Brissett probably get the majority of the carries, but I definitely think in the beginning of the year, you'll see kind of a tryout situation, and maybe one of the other guys will emerge, or maybe Brissett will emerge and be the guy. But I definitely think it'll be kind of a by committee in the beginning at least. Wide receivers, that's probably LSU's strongest position on offense. They return a number of guys, so they look pretty strong at wideout. But unfortunately, with no quarterback just yet, running back by committee doesn't seem to be good, and on the offensive line, they only return one starter. So I've got to look at that offense and question it especially without a quarterback. What are these guys going to do? And I just don't think it's going to get that much better, especially losing a guy like Darius Geis. So the way I look at it, I think LSU's offense will take a slight step back. Defensively, Dave Aranda's units is in pretty good shape. The DBs, they return pretty much all their DBs, and they got Greedy Williams, who was one of the best freshmen last year. He's coming back for corner at the cornerback spot. Devin White, who was LSU's leading tackler, returns at linebacker. LSU only returns one defensive lineman, but I think I think they'll be okay there. They've got some guys, and they did sign a bunch of defensive linemen in the 2018 class. So I don't think that'll be an issue. I think defensively, even though LSU loses Arden Key, I do think they'll take a slight step forward. So the way I kind of look at LSU is offensively they'll take a slight step back, and defensively they'll get a little bit better. So overall, I think you'll see about the same product on the field for LSU, just because of that. I see them being about the same. So let's get into the schedule here. LSU's got a lot of teams are going this route, obviously. So LSU is doing the same thing here and playing a big time opponent right out of the gate in Dallas, and they're taking on the Miami Hurricanes. And I love this trend in college football where you see big schools matching up against other big schools. It's fun. It's something to talk about, and you want to see these matchups. That game to me is kind of a toss up. I actually think LSU will. I would say LSU is a slight favorite. I don't know what the odds on the game are right now. I think LSU will probably win that game. I think Miami is a bit overrated there with Coach Richt. Obviously, they had a big season last year, and then just hit the wall completely. But I do think LSU will win the game based on their defense. Miami just struggles on offense. I think LSU will probably shut them down, probably win that game, although I could see Miami win the game. After that, you got a cupcake for LSU. Then they go on the road and play Auburn. That's obviously going to be a tough game. I predicting it, who knows who's going to win that one. I'd say that game's 50-50. Then you've got another cupcake on LSU's schedule, then Ole Miss. Then LSU goes to Florida, which that'll be a tough game, being that it's going to be in the swamp. I think Florida's obviously going to be improved under Dan Mullen. Then LSU plays at home against UGA. That's obviously going to be a tough game for LSU. I think LSU loses that, although there is a chance that LSU could win that one. Because LSU's at home, but I do think Georgia will end up winning that game. Then LSU has Mississippi State, and then goes on the road against Alabama, then plays Arkansas, Rice, and goes on the road against A&M. So kind of the way I look at LSU's schedule is I kind of take an automatic loss at Georgia. I do think Georgia's going to win that game. At home against Georgia, and then when they play on the road at Alabama. So I think those are kind of two givens. I'm just, obviously anything could happen. LSU could win both of those games, but the likelihood of that is very, very slim. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of say that LSU loses both of those games. And then the swing games, obviously Miami, Auburn. Mississippi State's going to have a pretty good football team, so you can throw that game in there as well as A&M may be pretty good at the end of the year. So those are a few games that it's going to be kind of a 50-50 type situation, and the fact that LSU just hasn't been able to find a quarterback. And a running back committee situation, along with a lot of new guys on the offensive line. I'm just not sure how good they're going to be offensively. So I'm going to say LSU is going to end up being 8-4 on the season, with 9-3 being a possibility. It kind of depends on how good, if Brennan gets the starting spot there at quarterback, how good he ends up being. And maybe LSU can get to that 9-3 mark. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. You guys think LSU is going to, do you agree with me that they're going to be 8-4, or do you see LSU being a 9-3 or maybe even 10-2 team? I don't know, but let me know. Smack that sub button if you haven't done so already. I'm doing all kinds of SEC videos. Get a part of the SEC community here, and I'll see you guys in the next video.